Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and our guest today is Nicole Allen, who is the Communications Director for Effect.org. And Effect.org has people on the ground in Nepal doing relief work right now. It's an interesting story, so we're excited to have Nicole with us today. Nicole, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Well, Nicole, tell us a little bit about how Casey, the founder of Effect, ended up in Nepal.
Yeah, well, we were doing a documentary called Stolen Innocence, which is a look at the untold story of sex trafficking across India and Nepal. And the team have been filming in India and Nepal for the past few months. And so they were actually in India at the time of the earthquake doing some production, and they paused the production when the earthquake happened. And the team flew to Nepal as soon as they could. They got to the ground about 30 hours after the earthquake hit, and they wanted to deliver help as much as they could.
Well, it's amazing some of the progress they've already made. Tell us a little bit about what they've already done.
Yeah, their biggest priority really has been just getting in as many supplies as possible, which of course, as you can understand, isn't easy. The roads are in terrible condition. There's debris everywhere. The biggest thing has been to provide shelter for people, because I'm not sure if you're aware, but it's been raining. There's been thunderstorms ever since the actual earthquake, as well as aftershocks. So they have, first of all, it was just them, just the three of them, which is Casey, the director, who's Chris Davis, and Lindsay Daniels, who's the cinematographer of the film. And it was just them initially, and then that's spread. There's now over 200 volunteers that have joined them. They've been utilizing tech in order to provide solutions. So they've actually developed a Twitter bot to search for people that are needing rescue. They arrived in Nepal with over £200 in supplies. They've spent about $20,000 on supplies, and they're going to be spending a lot more in the coming days. They're planning to triple their efforts every day.
Well, it is amazing, really impressive work that they're doing. Tell us a little bit about the history of Effect.org. What has the organization traditionally been doing? Hasn't been providing relief work in Nepal as its traditional model?
No, yeah, relief. They're not an aid relief team. Effect International started when Casey met a woman called Bushra, who's from India in America, and they decided together that they wanted to create an organization to build schools and to get education to underprivileged children in India. So that led to Stolen Innocence, because as Casey and Bushra and the team for Effect were developing their work, they found that in the schools there were girls that were disappearing from the schools, and they didn't know where they were going. The numbers were dropping. And so Casey investigated that and tried to find out why, and he realized that it was because they were being sex trafficked, and they were losing them to the sex trafficking trade. And so, which absolutely awful, the numbers and how often this happens. And so he decided that he would create a film to tell the world. And that's what they've been doing ever since January. We did a Kickstarter last year to kind of create a community behind it, and people were extremely supportive. That was last year, September, and filming has commenced since November. They've been filming January, they've been filming February. So it's all been happening since then.
Well, it is exciting work. You know, this sex trafficking problem that the Stolen Innocence film seeks to highlight is one of the world's great and relatively unknown tragedies, isn't it? It's difficult, I know, to count the number of women involved, but it seems to be a huge problem, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's huge. I mean, you know, there are no official statistics because everything is so underground, but we've kind of thought that we've worked out that a girl is trafficked every 4 minutes in India. That's every 4 minutes, and the numbers, it just continues. It's a hugely prolific problem, and as you said, a lot of people don't know about it. So that's really what the film is trying to shed light on. But obviously, Nepal's very personal to us, to me, to Casey, and the whole team. We've got a lot of friends there, a lot of loved ones there. So as soon as this happened, we really felt the need to pause production and to go out there and deliver as much as we could, as fast as we could. They were actually one of the first teams out there on the ground because they were so close in neighboring India.
Well, you're doing just amazing, inspiring work, and Nicole, I'm interested. I think all of our audience is interested in you and the work that you're doing. I wonder if you would just take a minute and tell us a little bit about why you're engaged. Why personally? Why did you decide to get involved with Effect.org?
Yeah, I think there's always a lot of things in the world there's a lot of problems, there's a lot of things to fix with the world, so to speak. There's a lot to be done. And I think sometimes we can be overwhelmed with just the sheer, volume of how much there is in the world that can be fixed. But I personally decided to get involved with this because, I met two friends that were involved in Effect International, and I loved the idea of it. I loved the idea of people being able to get education to the places that need it most. Education is crucial. It's the #1 preventer for sex trafficking. It's the #1 preventer, because if you have that education, if you have those skills, then there's another option. There's a way out. There's so many avenues that education can provide. So that's why. And then obviously with the film, it's something that needs shedding light on, and I'm really here to be able to take that message and tell as many people as possible, and that's really what we're all here for.
People look up to you for the work that you're doing. People are inspired by what you're doing. Who do you look to for inspiration?
That's a good question. I feel like, to be honest, when things like this happen, when earthquakes and natural disasters like this happen, and I know Casey would say the same, we've really been looking to the people of Nepal. They have been the biggest heroes in this situation. People would be dying much more if the people of Nepal weren't so compassionate. They're the ones that know exactly where everyone is. They know the locations. They know where, they look out for each other. They have that sense of community, family. People have been volunteering all over the place. One woman even got fired from her job because she refused to go back because she thought, no, this work is much more important, They're the people that have been utilizing, Casey's been working with some guys and girls that work in tech, and they've been putting their skills to incredible use. So at this moment, they're really the ones that inspire me. I was just in Nepal just 2 weeks ago, and they are incredibly, incredibly happy, resilient people, and they were an inspiration to me the whole time that I was there.
I think our audience is pretty diverse. People from all different sorts of backgrounds and different objectives. Some are social entrepreneurs, some are impact investors, some are philanthropists, nonprofit leaders, all over. But everyone that is engaged in watching the show, I think, has one thing in common. I call it the greatest common factor. It's the desire to do more good, to have more impact. I wonder if you would give us one tip that we can apply that would help us have more impact.
I think that the biggest thing is being able to look around you immediately and see the biggest need that comes locally. Sometimes we get, obviously, when things like this happen, there is a great need for us to group together internationally and focus our attention on one international community. But I think on a daily basis, there are so many things that need doing right in our own community, right at home. So I think, I'm a big believer in karma personally, and I think just putting good vibes out there, helping people that are close to us, helping people that we see every day, I think that kind of thing really, really helps. But for now, I would say, funds are the biggest thing that Effect International needs. They're just burning through money, they're burning through supplies. They're not an aid relief team, but they're really doing their best. So, and people have shown amazing support so far. So all I can say for that is that, people to keep donating.
One of our audience asked a question too. Nicole, and he asked what people can do, and he's really thinking about future disasters. But Chase Murdoch asked where we can go to find the best places to donate after a natural disaster like this.
Yeah, it's a question that we've been asked a lot, and it can be really conflicting. There's so many different organizations that sort of pop up sometimes, and some people have been concerned about where their money's going to be going to. I know that if you want to donate to a bigger organization, the Red Cross has been amazing. The Red Cross are all over the world, and they're doing some really good work. Of course, I would like to say that, www.effect.org/donate, all of the proceeds will be going directly to the people of Nepal, food, water, shelter. It's going to be going straight there. Mercy Corps also have been doing a great job too. So I think it is tough when these things happen and you're unaware of where to go, but sometimes following a big charity and a big organization constantly through social media and things like that can help, because then you've got that connection, that relationship almost with the organization.
Well, that is a perfect segue to my next question, and that is, how do people connect with and stay in touch with Casey and the Effect team as they are continuing to work and serve in Nepal?
Yeah, definitely. So we're on Twitter, which is @StInnocence, and then they've actually created, as I was talking about, the Twitter feed. It's Nepal Rises, @Nepal Rises. And so, if anyone needs help or that's watching this, or anyone that wants to offer help or support can tell us there. We're also on Facebook, Stolen Innocence. So yeah, they're the main ways.
Fantastic. Well, Nicole, we really thank you for taking the time to be with us today. It's been a joy to have you. We commend you and Casey for the work you're doing in Nepal and wish you every success there.
Thank you so much, Devin. It's been really great to talk with you.
All righty, let's do some good.
Bye-bye.